All right, lead heads. We are back with another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. This is episode 291, getting ever so close to our 300th episode, and you know that one is going to be a huge episode. But just to kind of give you guys a teaser, we're going to kick things off this episode with a legend, and his name is J-Mack.
Yeah, I'm here again. You're welcome.
Legend of the optics industry. As you guys know, when we have J-Mack on, we're going to be talking Optics 101. But seriously, J-Mack has a friend that he's brought along with him, and you guys are going to be really surprised about this. J-Mack?
Yeah, well, as a lifelong martial artist myself, lifelong shooter, I was more than pleased to meet this gentleman who is also a lifelong martial artist and loves shooting and hunting, I think, more than most people know. But his name's Royce Gracie. So thanks for coming on, Royce.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, Royce, thank you so much.
I love shooting, man.
That's what I've heard. And I've seen you at a few of the events, like SHOT Show and some things like that, hanging around a little bit. So I kind of knew you were into the shooting sports.
SHOT Show is awesome. It's like this.
Marty, the first call I got an email from Royce, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And obviously I was pretty excited. But I noticed the little picture. You know, you have like a little profile picture for everything. Royce sends me an email, and this profile picture is him hanging out of a helicopter with an AR. And I was like, I didn't think I could have liked Royce any more than I already did. But the hanging out of the helicopter picture just put me over the edge.
Took it to a whole new level, huh?
Yes.
I get so much heat for that picture, man. People and, oh my God, you promoting violence. What? No, I am not promoting violence.
I mean, you're an MMA fighter, for God's sakes.
Even the MMA fighter, we're professional fighters. Doesn't mean that we get paid to fight on the cage. Why we're gonna fight in the street for free? That's what I tell guys. You're gonna fight for free on the streets, dude. Get paid to it.
Get paid for that, brother. Heck yeah.
So if you're gonna be sore the next day, you might as well have some money for it.
Yeah.
So this is a treat. UFC legend, Royce Gracie, mixed martial artist, semi-retired. Have you officially retired, Royce?
Man, I've been retired for the last 10 years. They keep bringing me back in.
You just can't get away from it, which is not a bad thing. But you're touring around the United States and the world now teaching.
Yes, I'm all over the world. Right now I'm in Galveston, doing a tour, Galveston, Texas, doing a tour all over Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, then to Colorado and New York.
You're all over the place, and I understand you're eventually going to make your way up to Tennessee sometime, so we got to definitely get that set up to find out where that's going to be. We'll hook up.
That's going to be during deer season.
Oh, that'll be perfect, man.
Smart man.
We could do some hunting. So, Royce, tell us a little bit about how you got into the hunting and shooting sports.
Shooting, I actually got really into it when I came to America, and we had a student that was a DA, and every Sunday he would take my brother and I to go shoot in the range. That's when I got into it. Hunting, on the beginning, yes, my father was against killing animals. But then I was like, okay, Father, you're against killing animals, but we do eat the animals, the fish, the chicken, meat. So what's the point? Oh, he always says it's karma when you kill the animals. I understand if you kill for the fun of it, but I don't kill for the fun of it. I take the hide, the horns, the meat, everything nothing goes to waste. And whatever we don't eat, the coyotes will eat, the vultures, it goes back into the land.
Absolutely.
So nothing. So people don't understand that. People think that, oh, you go hunting just for the fun of it. You shoot, you kill the poor Bambi. No, I don't kill for the fun. I kill because I want to eat. If I don't eat, not going to do anything with it, why should I kill?
That's a good point.
I don't even kill for trophies. Yeah, if it's a big deer and got a big horns, I'll take the horns, but not just trophy. I just want the head on my wall. No, don't. I want to take everything, just every circle of life, man.
So where do you like to go hunting the most? Where's your favorite place to hunt?
Oof. Oregon's pretty good. I got elk over there about 3 years ago. That was a pretty good trip. Tennessee, got some good deer.
We got some great deer in Tennessee.
Texas.
You do a little hog hunting in Texas?
Deer, hog, yep.
So I understand that you got a new scope. I understand that you're rocking the Riton Optics, they're 1:8 by 28, and you've got the hunting version of that scope. Is that right?
Yes, I got a new 300 Blackout.
Nice.
So I got to mount that on it. I'm just waiting for my rings to arrive.
On the way, buddy.
Those ever elusive rings, scope rings.
Well, the 1:8's a 34 millimeter tube, unlike a whole lot of 1-2 power scopes. So it is a little harder to find rings. So we got him hooked up with a nice new set of rings. And he neglects to say that he took good care of his son, too. His son likes to shoot, and he won his recent fight. And so they have some matching rifles, matching scopes. So I bet Dad will outshoot him, though. They won't be matching when they hit the range. We'll see.
With a rifle, I think he can take me. With a handgun, I'll take him. Yes.
Good deal. You're well-rounded. If it goes down, the two of you together is the perfect team then.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you said you just got a 300 Blackout. I just built one myself. I did a little home build. I like to throw an occasional rifle together here and there. And I really like the 300 Blackout. It's one of my most favorite rounds. How long you been shooting the 300?
I just shot it, was it Florida? In about 4 months ago.
Okay.
I was in Florida. So I shot it for the first time. I was like, man, I like this round. It's light.
Yes.
But it's heavy. So
that's what I like about it. It's heavy hitting, but as far as the recoil and the shooting, it's really smooth.
Very light, yes.
Yeah.
So I just, that's when I got a couple of those. One for me, one for my son.
Now, did you get a custom-made 300 Blackout? What kind of... Did you get a certain manufacturer?
Armalite. I had to make a custom-made one for California compliance.
Oh, man. So you're living out there in California.
So I live in California. So it's like, gotta be all decked out for California.
Right.
They're like, Armalite was like, we don't even make rifles for California. But they made a special one just for us.
Very nice. I'd like to see that one. If you get an opportunity to shoot J-Mack some pics and share them with me, that'd be awesome if you could do that.
Yeah, I got a couple pics of it. He got to tour the Armalite facility as well, so it looked like a pretty fun day for Royce and to get a 300 Blackout.
Oh, heck yeah.
Another funny story, he likes that 300 Blackout, and it's bigger, right? So you can hunt with that, bear, different things. Pig, it's great for.
Great for hog hunting, yeah.
I said, have you ever heard of the 50 Beowulf? And he said, is that a caliber? And so I sent him a picture of the 50 Beowulf next to the 5.56, and he just sends these like a picture of big wide eyes, and he just says, I need one. And I was like, yeah, it's incredible. It's fun.
That's a big bullet right there.
That thing will like knock down a door. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that'll take down a Humvee.
But question: how do I take care of the scope? There is such a thing. I just normally put it on and just go shooting. Don't know much about how to take care of it. If I need to do anything special.
Absolutely, and that just so happens to be the topic of this episode's Optics 101 class. We're going to get into maintenance and cleaning of your scope, but I understand that you probably want to learn how to use that scope that you've got, and we've got J-Mack here, the expert, that can definitely walk you through that. J-Mack?
Yeah, we're excited, and Royce, the problem is that scope is so good, you probably don't ever have to do anything to it, and it will shoot. And it will shoot just fine. You can drop it, you can ding it around, it can get dusty and dirty, but for the best results, we sent out with that one, like we do every scope, some lens covers. They're just little caps that flip over the lens. And easy thing to do is just keep those flipped down. whenever you're not using the scope. And that helps to maintain the lenses, because we go through great lengths to put some coatings on those lenses that let light in. They make it perfectly clear. So you don't want smudge marks from your fingers on there. You don't want dust and dirt in there because you have some incredible light gathering opportunities. But if you do get dust and dirt in there, and a lot of people get grease on their fingers from their weapon, from their firearms, and then they'll touch the lens, not even knowing it. So there'll be a greasy fingerprint on there. But every Riton scope comes with a microfiber cloth. So just every now and then, Royce, just take that black Riton cloth that came with the scope.
Yes.
And you just clean that. You clean that lens, both the front and the back lens. You just clean them, wipe them down. It's good to make sure, like I said, that those caps are down whenever possible, because that helps. Something that you can get in trouble doing is if there's like sand or grit on there, you don't want to wipe that around because you'll scratch it. So you have to look on there, and if you see some chunks, and honestly, there's a lot of fancy ways to do it, and there's brushes and special cans of air and whatnot. Honestly, you could, if you'll just blow into the end of that scope and blow all the large debris out of there, then you can clean it with a nice cloth, and you'll have a great scope. It's waterproof, so you never have to worry about once you get it in the water. Other than that, I mean,
I don't think I'm going to get hit.
Keep it tight.
You fish.
Do what? Yeah. We make it pretty easy. Scopes have come a long, long way. So with very minimal maintenance, and we can get deeper into it as we go on. But
yeah,
for you, Royce, man, just keep those lenses clean and make sure your mounts are tight. You know, if you shoot a whole bunch, your scope can get loose inside of the rings and slide around. So every now and then, you just make sure your rings are nice and tight. You keep your caps on, and you're good to go. That thing's going to last you literally a lifetime. So you're going to get a lot of fun out of it.
Nice.
So J-Mack, this is a new scope to him. He probably wants to know the features. Now I know you've got to go, Royce. So thank you so much for taking the time. But before you go, let's let J-Mack fill you in all the features of that 1-8 hunting version. We've talked about the tactical version. I've been rocking the tactical version of that scope. I absolutely love it, and I'm running that on my 5.56. But I'm going to get the hunting one, and I'm going to get it for my 300 Blackout that we were talking about. So tell us about the features of that, J-Mack, so he can utilize it to the max.
Absolutely. That tactical scope has been widely popular, but the more I shoot this hunting scope, I was out with the CEO of Riton, and we were shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor, and we had the hunting version on there. And 100, 200 yards was like, it's just easy money. I actually like the hunting version better for that. So yeah, this scope has kind of been shadowed by the first focal plane, fancy reticle, and the other one, but this is an incredible scope. Some of the features that you don't know you have yet, Royce, are most scopes, like we talked about, are a 30 millimeter in that magnification range. So you're going to get a whole lot more light into your scope, which is nice. Most of them are closer to a 24 objective on the end towards the barrel, and you have a 28 millimeter. So everything's just bigger and better. Lets more light in, it's tougher, more durable.
I mean, he is in Texas,
adjustments.
So it fits in perfect with Texas.
Well, hey man, hog hunting can be a rough and tumble game, man. So you gotta have everything. You gotta have everything working just right. Something else that's really nice about it is eye relief when you're hunting, especially like pigs is a good example. Because if you mount the scope too close to your eye and you're running around or jumping out of something and trying to shoot a truck real quick, or trying to shoot a pig real quick, that scope the recoil will push it back into your eye, and that's a bad day. That ruins the hunting trip. So these have a full 4 inches of eye relief. So the scope should be about 4 inches away from your eye. And then we've talked a little bit at the SHOT Shows and just in passing about the magnification, particularly. Royce can use an optic and knows exactly how that goes, but we talked about what the magnification means too. So yours on 1 power, Royce, there's no magnification when you have it on 1. It's just the same as if you were looking downrange. And then each number that you go up to, it brings the target that much closer. So 1 power is like your eyeballs. 2 power it means the target is twice. The target looks like it's twice as close. So with that 1 to 8, you can have a target that seems 8 times as close as the naked eye, which has some really obvious implications because you can reach out and touch something with that scope.
Now on the hunting version, is
Tennessee
that
when I come.
Oh, go ahead.
Maybe I'll bring it to Tennessee when I come.
Yes, do bring it. We'll go
Yep.
shoot together. There's a range up here. It's called Royal Range USA, and that we can go out there. We can do a little side by side shooting, and then if you've got time, maybe you give me enough notice. We'll try to work out a hunt or something.
Sounds good.
You know how to. You're going to make friends with Royce if you're not careful talking that hunt stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what we do in Tennessee. So
Absolutely.
I have to jump in a car and drive to Deer Park. Gotta go teach over there this afternoon. But we'll talk more, Jeremy.
Yes. Yeah. Anytime.
Royce, thank you so
Yes.
much for taking the time to be on. Real quick, if you would, give out your website, social media, where our listeners can go and catch up with the latest on what's going on with Royce Gracie.
My website is roycegracie.com. You can get all my schedule, where I'm going to be and what I'm teaching the world. And then with the places that you can learn Jiu-Jitsu. And then we have Twitter, Instagram is Real Royce, at Real Royce. So that you can...
They can find you at that on all the social medias.
At Real Royce, yes. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, forget it. There's 1,000 fake Facebooks out there. That's trying to pretend to be me. And
gosh. So I always said to comment on something on Facebook like a year ago, and I said, I tried to be friends with you, but you have too many friends and won't let me. So going on.
But there's about 100 fake ones.
Oh, yeah.
People that
False ones.
So, yeah.
Well, Royce,
Right,
thank you so much. I'd love to have you back on when you've got more time. We can talk hunting and shooting, go into some details about that. I mean, I'd love to hear about your MMA as well. We talk a little bit of everything here, fitness and sports and shooting. So you're always welcome back, Royce.
Thank you. I appreciate it, sir.
All right. Talk to you soon. And J-Mack, make sure we get contact info because, like I said, I want to set you up to do some classes here in Tennessee because I didn't see it on your schedule. So let's make sure we hard book that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Royce.
Bye-bye.
Very cool. All right. So that was awesome. Completely caught me off guard having Royce Gracie on the Talking Lead podcast. And that's all due to our good buddy J-Mack. So thank you for that, J-Mack.
My pleasure.
I know he didn't have a lot of time. We're definitely going to try and get Royce back on and get him on the full show. And I think he would be a good person to do the Jackwagon Train with 1 week, too. Get his take on some of these Jackwagons.
He does. And, he's got a lot from Brazil because the gun laws are changing in Brazil. He's actually friends with the president. And so they're trying to get things straightened out over there. But he's got some cool info.
Nice. And speaking of Jackwagons, it is time for the Jackwagon Train. So, Gunny, bring it in.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jackwagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
All right, so this is probably going to be no surprise to everybody. This is hitting the news everywhere you look right now. And it's the Remington. So it's the courts have ruled that Remington can be sued over the Newtown shooting, basically. So, and there's J-Mack and I were talking about this off air, but I'm going to read this. This is from AP, and this comes from Jason Edgar. He's the first leadhead to send this in to me. So Jason says the agenda continues. This is like blaming a beer for a drunk driver. There are many to add to the Jackwagon list on this, but hear what the lawyer had to say. And this is Joshua Koskoff, a lawyer for the plaintiffs, has said the Bushmaster rifle and other AR-15 style rifles were designed as military killing machines and should never have been sold to the public. He accuses Remington of targeting younger, at-risk males through militaristic marketing and astute product placement in violent first-person shooter games. The family's goal has always been to shed light on Remington's calculated and profit-driven strategy to expand the AR-15 market and court high-risk users, all at the expense of Americans' safety, Koskoff said Thursday. Today's decision is a critical step toward achieving that goal. So, that's opening up a whole can of worms there. That's putting every gun manufacturer, every gun accessory manufacturer, that's opening everyone up to this, to be able to be sued now. So let's read this AP article. Hartford, Connecticut. Gunmaker Remington can be sued over how it marketed the rifle used to kill 20 children and 6 educators at Sandy Hook Elementary School in 2012. A divided Connecticut Supreme Court ruled Thursday. Gun control advocates touted the ruling as providing a possible roadmap for victims of other mass shootings to circumvent a long criticized federal law that shields gun manufacturers from liability in most cases when their products are used in crime. Gun rights supporters bashed the decision as judicial activism and overreach. So in a 4-3 decision, justices reinstated a wrongful death lawsuit against Remington and overturned the ruling of a lower court judge who said the entire lawsuit was prohibited by the 2005 federal law. The majority said that while most of the lawsuit's claims were barred by the federal law, Remington could still be sued for alleged wrongful marketing under Connecticut law. So under Connecticut law. So this might be a state-to-state specific applicable kind of lawsuit thing. The regulation of advertising that threatens the public's health, safety, and morals has long been considered a core exercise of the state's police powers. Justice Richard Palmer wrote for the majority, adding he didn't believe Congress envisioned complete immunity for gun makers. Several lawsuits over mass shootings in other states have been rejected because of the federal law. And this goes on and on and on and on. Says Remington, based in Madison, North Carolina, has denied wrongful doings and previously insisted it can't be sued because of the 2005 law called the Prosecution of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, a Remington spokesperson said Thursday. We have no timeline for any comments to be made on the subject. One of their spokespeople said. James Vaughts, a lawyer for Remington, has cited 2005 federal law and previously said the Bushmaster rifle is a legal firearm used by millions of people for hunting, self-defense, and target shooting. So, yes, it is. It absolutely is. And the fact that it was designed by military for military use is irrelevant. You know, it has nothing to do with civilians being able to use, own, and operate the style. And that's what it says, style rifles. These are not fully automatic AR-15s being sold, even though it is legal for a citizen to own a fully automatic firearm, you know, under the right background checks and licensing, whatnot. There's laws that people have to follow to be able to own those. So, yeah, I think this is pretty ludicrous, but they're actually targeting the marketing. So I think they're finding the loophole in this 2005 federal law that protects gun manufacturers, you know, from being sued over acts just like Sandy Hook. So they've found a different way to go about this, and they're going at it through the marketing. Now they're saying that through video games that they've marketed to these kids. What are your thoughts on this, J-Mack?
Man, you know, I'm almost like tempted to like plead the fifth because I'm kind of all over the place because, you know, like we talked off air a little bit about the marketing done with cigarettes in the past.
Yeah, like Philip Morris was, you know, it uncovered that they were actually targeting children. And in their marketing statements and missions, you know, it stated that that's what they were doing purposely. And that's why they got in such big trouble.
Right. And so, like, there's a part of me that understands that. But, like, at the end of the day, not Ride-On's or anybody else's, Jeremiah Alexander's philosophy is our kids are our responsibility. And we should let them know that walking into places and shooting people or doing drugs is a negative, is a bad thing. And so I think that the fault, you know, for things like this lay with the person that does it and with those people, you know, that helped raise that person, but not the marketing. You know, I don't know. I don't feel like it's right to put sanctions on how you're allowed to market things. That being said, if you're going to write up a plan that says we want to talk underage kids into doing drugs, then yeah, in that case, you should probably be prosecuted. This is a real tough situation, but I like many people have said, it really opens up the door to, because I could point out how anything markets to anything, drinking, anything, you know what I mean? And like,
right.
Well, how about kids that skateboard on stairs, like that break their neck later?
Mm-hmm.
You know, those cool skateboarding videos they put out, are they trying to talk kids into skateboarding down a handrail?
Right.
And therefore when they get hurt, it's murky waters, but I think we have to get out of the murky waters personally and start taking care of our own and take responsibility for our actions and our children. And then it doesn't matter what the marketing is. It doesn't matter what you say. That's Jeremiah's personal take on it.
Well, and I think at some point they do have a responsibility as to their marketing, you know, and how they go about doing that. For what they're citing here through, you know, the video games, and I can't remember what the other thing was that they're saying, but I mean, the video games, it's just like the alcohol. Let's use the alcohol as an example. You know, sports. The beer companies are huge into sponsoring and advertising, you know, Super Bowls and things like that. Kids are the majority of people who watch that. Kids are the majority of the people who idolize those sports figures, you know? And I just can't, but they're not all. They're not the only people that are doing that. You know, there's all ages that partake in sports. There's all ages that partake in video games also. You know, and a lot of these video games have the parental ratings on them now, like movies. You know, I think they got that passed to where they have to rate video games now. So I think you've hit it spot on where, you know, you gotta police your own kids and what you don't want them to be exposed to and what you want them to be exposed to. That's your responsibility. It's not the government. It's not, you know, me if I'm a company manufacturing and, you know, I put an ad on a TV show that just so happens kids are going to watch also, but the majority is going to be older people, you know. I just don't see it. I think they're looking for a loophole here. They're looking for a way to get in to be able to do damage to our firearms industry. And they're still hanging on to this Sandy Hook shooting, you know.
I can't figure out why.
Or this Newtown. Yeah, Sandy Hook, Newtown. Yeah, Newtown.
Yeah. People feel like they have to be on one side or the other with these topics. And I mean, we have a government that leans that way. We need our officials, you know, who we elect to start to be people that can, you know, and I know there's a whole lot that goes into this, so forgive me for any of my ignorance, but yeah, we need some middle ground. Marketing intentionally to little kids is wrong, but
for products,
blaming other people for your kids' shortcomings is wrong. So there's some middle ground that needs to go. Like, everyone probably needs to be held a little more accountable than they are, but it's not this side or that side. You know what I mean? There's more to it than that.
Right. Absolutely. But what this is going to do is this allows the can of worms to get opened up and examined even closer. So by allowing this lawsuit to go forward, you know, it's allowing the opportunity for discovery that might unearth, you know, those documents that I was talking about, that maybe Remington has those, you know, in-house documents, classified documents that states that. I'm hoping not, you know, I'm very well hoping not, but it's opened up that can of worms and it could go that way.
Well, I think you've got the right approach, which is, you know, I'm obviously a gun-loving American, military-loving American, but I like the idea of some accountability and some training and some, you know, things like that too. So just because you love guns doesn't mean you have to hate anything that's against guns. You just have to be smart about what it means and read up and learn your facts. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
I didn't know all the facts on this case if you just read the Facebook headlines.
Right, that's what they're wanting you to think is because of you know, that shooting, Remington's going to be held accountable for the guy doing the shooing. And we don't even know if that guy, I mean, maybe they do, what kind of advertising he was exposed to, if any. So we don't even know if that even had a bearing on, which we know it didn't because the guy was mentally disturbed. And, you know, that was where that's kind of where, you know, a lot of these shootings happen. You know, it comes down to that bridging that gap between the firearms industry and the mental health industry. And
it is. you've heard a lot of high class or, high kind of profile people saying we don't have a gun problem in America. We have a mental health problem.
Yeah.
And I would have to stand to agree. We
do have a gun problem. We have a lack of education on firearm safety, the proper use of what firearms are used for, our Constitution, our Second Amendment. It's a lack of education on what that means. And that's why we have all these people, these ignorant people out there that try and they just jump on these bandwagons of trying to take our rights away. Yeah, we need people in there that know about hunting, that know about firearms, and can advocate both ways. We always taught our kids, all of our children have shot guns, and one of my 6 children is real big into guns, and it's one of my daughters. Mm-hmm. And if they were into it, they were into it. If they were not, then they were not going to be surprised by a firearm, and they were going to know how to work it and keep it safe. And, gosh, don't point your muzzle at anything you don't want to shoot. Don't touch the trigger. You know what I'm saying? You could knock it down to 3 safety rules that you could cycle through that would pretty much take care of almost any situation. It doesn't have to be difficult. Yeah, exactly. And, and another thing, that's what we do on this podcast. That's what Talking Lead is all about. It's about leducating the unleducated. That's what we do on this show. So if you've got a friend, a family member, somebody who's kind of on the fence, I think that we do on this show a really good job in not condemning people or chastising people or talking down to people who don't understand or might be ignorant of the facts, or the real life scenarios. So send them over and listen to the show. I think at least they'll get a different perspective, one that's not so judgmental as some of the right-wing news sources do. So I think that's what podcasts are changing the game, because CNN isn't funding you, and therefore isn't asking you to say this thing agenda, or that thing. And I don't just mean CNN. I just mean there's no one but Marty. I can tell you, I'm not getting a paycheck from CNN. I'm not getting a paycheck from Fox. I'm not getting a paycheck from from anybody other than people that I use their products from and feel 100%. That's what's changed the game with regards to how information is spread. Now people can just be honest and share their opinions and not be influenced by any kind of social organizations. So I think it's big. I think podcasts are huge. So I commend you for what you're doing. Well, I appreciate that. And, another goal of this show is to show the diversity of this community. I mean, look, we just had a world-class, legend of UFC, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Royce Gracie on the show. And Royce is a hunter, a firearms advocate. You don't see that tie-in with MMA. There's no firearms advertising on UFC or MMA. Probably because they don't allow it, kind of like NASCAR. NASCAR bans, any sort of firearm sponsorship or anything. That run that I had on the Camping World Series, I actually got the Talking Lead logo on one of those trucks. Oh wow! For a season, yeah. So I just kind of squeaked through the cracks on that one. But they made me modify some things on my logo. I had to take the bullets out. I had to take the bullet holes off the logo. Yeah. Certain things like that. But I did sneak the bullet microphone in. Snuck it in on them. Yeah, because they didn't really catch that until it was too late. So, but nice. But we have musicians on the show. We have entertainers, actors. All kinds of personalities, just to show that every walk of life, somehow, some way, they enjoy their Second Amendment rights. Black, white, Hispanic, Muslim, Christian, atheist, all walks of life, children, men, women, everyone, likes their firearms rights. So we don't discriminate. We're the most welcoming, open, what do you call us? The firearms world, firearms community. Thank you. Community's probably the most welcoming community there is, the most diverse community there is. Gays, homosexuals, LGBT. We welcome everyone. We don't deny anyone their Second Amendment rights, and we welcome them to talk about it and share their stories and their love of the outdoors industry, the firearms industry. So I'm off my soapbox now, but you guys need to know that is going on, and it could be huge because, like I said, it just opens up that can of worms for them to delve into even deeper. Even though I think Remington's probably going to prevail in this, I hope they do, but they need our support.
People just need to make informed decisions. That's it. Just acclimate yourself to the facts.
And don't just take one source. Don't just take my word for it. Go out and research the left side, the right side, both sides. You want to hear what both sides have to say about it, and then form your own opinion and critically think it through.
Yeah, I'll tell you, some of the best advice I ever got was my grandfather told me when I was a small kid. He said, "Well, son, there's 3 sides to the truth. To the story. There's your side, my side, and there's the truth."
Yeah.
And I have found that to be true. There's a little bit of truth here. There's a little bit of truth there, but often neither side has the complete truth. So you have to gather it up and make that informed decision.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of informed decisions, we want to give our listeners on this episode the ability to decide to properly clean their scopes and maintain their scopes, Jeremiah.
Yes, please do.
We talked a little bit about it with Royce, but let's kind of go through a more detailed explanation and course, because this is Optics 101. It is a course, a class that our lead heads sign up for. And where would you start? I think the proper thing to do is, like you said, anytime you're getting ready to go out, go hunt, is check your optic, take your lens cover off. Hopefully you've got lens covers for the front and rear. Open those up and just kind of gently blow. And don't do a spit spray blow. Because then you're going to get,
then
liquid,
you got some loogie on the end.
Loogie on there, and then you're going to have to do even more cleaning. But usually just a light blow would do that. And you mentioned, and I didn't think you were supposed to do this, but you mentioned that there are some air cans that you can use also.
There's some lower pressure stuff. You don't want to use like a computer one.
Yeah.
Because you'll scratch it just like if there's dirt. But I would honestly back up to the unboxing of your scope.
Okay, let's do that. You're the expert. You start us off.
Yeah, I tell people, wherever you get your scope from, unbox that scope, inspect it right away. Turn all your knobs, you take all the covers off, up and down, look at the lenses, rotate the turrets around. Don't go through all the work and ammunition. Yeah, run everything that turns and moves on there.
If it's illuminated, try that out.
Yeah, and then take a good look at the lenses. They should look perfect. There should be no smudges, no imperfections whatsoever. Start there, and you can save yourself a little trouble. And then the mounting process. I've actually seen a few people dent their main body of their scope by using the wrong size rings, which is not a great way to maintain your rifle scope. It did still work, but I don't suggest it.
Yeah, so you could actually break it.
You can. There's actually a method of reaming out rings. When you start getting into the super high end shooting, they will take those rings and make sure that there's no burrs or any imperfections inside of the rings, so that they can't influence the scope in any way or poke it or push on it. So, just start at the bottom, work your way up, mount it properly, look at the torque, look at all the torque settings once you get it in there. And then, yes, I highly, highly recommend the lens caps, the lens covers. So in any ride-on scope that you buy will have front and rear lens covers. Those are your babies. Like, take care of those. Don't treat them bad.
Don't lose them.
I
do that a lot.
Compared to the cost of a scope, the lens covers are nominal. That's an easy thing to replace.
Right.
So you should let that do the work for you. But yeah, and honestly, people get real crazy and in depth. But like we were talking about with Royce, our scopes are great. They're gonna stand the elements and the weather. So the main thing I tell people, and this is what I do too. Like I said, you can get real crazy with this, but for most of us, just blow any large chunks of dirt or anything out of there. Just make sure there's no chunks, and then use the cloth that you have. Ideally, you start in the middle and you just make circles till you get to the outside. Keep your fingerprints off of there, things like that. Another thing you can check is if you're hunting or have a tactical scope that has capped turrets on it, there should be an O-ring plastic O-ring inside there that helps maintain the waterproof seal on those. So make sure you haven't squished that, or you don't. Make sure you don't. I've seen people where I say people, I've done it before, where the O-ring was cockeyed, and so I just like ground it into the threads, like when I threw the cap on real quick.
Oh yeah.
And just like just ground that O-ring. So make sure it hasn't fallen out. Make sure it's in there. And then with those cap turrets, make sure you take them off every now and then, even if you don't make those adjustments. And same thing, blow in there, make sure there's no large chunks of anything.
And the reason you want to check that is
dry.
you want to check for rust. You want to make sure there's no rust in there, because it could happen especially if those O-rings are busted.
Yeah, rust, debris. If you get any kind of debris in there, that's a mechanical device. So debris of almost any size inside of your turret mechanisms is going to be a no-no. The other thing you can do, if you're so inclined, is all of our Riton optics are zero resettable, meaning you can dial that turret and zero your scope at 100, 200, 1,000, whatever it is you do, and then you unscrew the turret, pull it off, turn it to the zero, and then you screw it back down.
And then you're back.
Being that you can do that, it means we can take off our turrets. So not a terrible idea every so often to go ahead and just take that turret off. Don't do it right before you go hunting. Don't do it right before your PRS match.
No.
But before you're going to go to the range, and do some practice or whatever, take that thing off.
If you're getting ready to sight it in for a new sight in, then that'd be a good time to do it. Yeah. Yeah,
just a good time to kind of inspect and look at it. And other than that, these modern scopes, any decent scope is fairly waterproof. The temperature ratings are incredible. We got a guy that's freezing one. He does a box test, and then he freezes it in the freezer, and then he throws it in the pool to thaw.
Oh.
Which, that's okay. The reason you do that is because there's expansion and contraction with the freezing and thawing process. So if you're doing it inside of a body of water, it is really going to accentuate any problems that could be had. And then he goes and he does the box test again, and I'll let that review come out and let everyone see it. But man, you know what I mean?
So
you're never gonna do that.
I did a test with the red dot where I froze it, put it in the freezer, and then I heated up I didn't put it like in the oven to bake, but I heated up the oven and then I set it in there.
Let it thaw out.
Just to let it thaw out. Again, that rapid expansion kind of thing, kind of deal. And then I left it outside. This is when it was cold. It was like 30-something degrees or 28 degrees or something here. Left it out overnight, brought it back in. Checked it each time to make sure the red dot would come on. It came on, worked fine. And then I froze it again after that, let it sit at room temperature. Then I put it back in the freezer, pulled it out. I did this like over a 3-day period just to test, just to test the battery and the red dot and make sure everything worked properly. And I was pleased with the results. I didn't have any issues with it after that.
Yeah,
I didn't throw it in the pool though. I haven't done that.
Who's even gonna be if your scope has frozen, then so have you.
Right.
So the scope will be the least of your
problems.
But
when I did that,
it'll take that.
Yeah, when I did those tests, obviously it's fogging up and it's this and that, and I'm taking it in and out, and I got stuff on the lens, so I had to clean that. And I just used the microbial towel, and that's all I needed for that. But there are other tools that you guys can use that are out there available. You've got the towels, which most manufacturers will include, and then there's those lens brushes. It's got the real soft bristles on there. That's real good for getting in like the crevices, the nooks and the crannies that maybe you can't get on, and do a light dusting. And then usually they come like in a pin, and you've got the brush on one side, and you've got like is this a cloth on the other end? Yeah,
it's just a little, it's more, that's even made for like bifocals or something, it's for precise cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
And again, I want to just encourage people to, if you'll just do basic care of your scope, you really don't even have to go through the trouble of buying these fine-tuned brushes and whatnot. I'm all about it. I love to shoot precision, and everything starts to matter. So I do take really good care of our stuff, but just, use common sense and keep it clean.
These cleaning tools aren't expensive at all.
They're not.
You can
They're
find
really
them
not.
pretty much anywhere that sells hunting equipment and things like that. Another thing that you want to make sure that you check, and this is if you've got an optic that runs on batteries, is you want to check that battery housing area also, because again, you were talking about the O-rings. Sometimes those O-rings get bad, and you'll get moisture in there, but you want to check those terminals for your battery and make sure you don't have any rust or fogging up of those terminals, so you get good connection with your batteries, and make sure your batteries aren't leaking, the battery acid. That'll definitely screw up your workings for your illumination at the very least.
Yes. And again, that just falls into that realm of anything that can be unscrewed or moved.
Mm-hmm.
Unscrew it, move it every now and then, take a peek at it. Even like you mentioned, the red dots, and especially the micro red dot that comes with 3 different mounts. That's one more, point of impact that things can get loose. And so if your red dot's rattling around on the mount or longer, that's not going to be good for the mount, for the dot, for your groupings. So just make sure things are tight and snug, and again, refer to the manuals for, inch pounds as far as all that goes. And man, I don't know. I have had scopes since I have had scopes now. I have a scope that's 20 years old, and no one is going to claim that I'm real finicky about how I do anything. And so I feel like if I can keep a scope and torture it that long, then anyone can. So,
yeah. And it just, they just take a little maintenance, just a little maintenance here and there. Just like, you clean your gun, you probably clean your gun 10 times more than you've even thought about cleaning your optic. But your optic still needs some care. So it's not something that you want to overlook. And some things that you don't want to do is you don't want to use your shirt to wipe your lens off, because your shirt, who knows what all dirt and grime and grease you've got on your shirt. If you're cleaning your gun, you don't want to use the same rag or anything you've used to clean your gun with. So you want to keep your lens free of oil. The only liquids you want to put on there are certified lens cleaners. Modern Spartan Systems makes a great lens cleaner that you guys can use. There's probably some other ones as well, but that's the one I've been using for the past 8 years.
Yeah, their stuff. I am not a sponsor. I'm not sponsored or paid to say it, but their stuff I think is incredible. Their accuracy oil, their lug oil, the
Carbon destroyer
compound. Yeah, their compounds for cleaning optics. They have some kits that I highly suggest that are just 3 or 4 things in there, basically to lube and accurize and keep your optics clean. That's great. Yeah. Great products.
And it's just,
that's what I personally use.
Crystal Clear is the name of the lens cleaners that they have.
I've used it before, like showing off my weapon, whether it be at like a SHOT Show event or a big event. I'll take that big Ritter I have with our 4-32, and I use that same spray to clean my scope, like just to touch it up, because it gets greasy from my hands and different things. And it works great for the body of the scope too. It's not suggested for that, but I can't see that would hurt it in any way. And it's just a nice way to keep your things nice and purty. I'm a big proponent of that. I think if you buy things that you like, then you take care of them. When you take care of them, you learn to understand them better. You're quicker to notice things. That's why ride-on scopes are so sexy. We want you to love them, take care of them.
They're so sexy. So I think we've pretty much covered everything. The don'ts are pretty. It's common sense kind of stuff. It's don't use your shirts, your sleeves, your snotty handkerchiefs, your bandanas, anything like that. And then you don't want to spray these cleaners directly on it either, because that might get in there and it could, over time, maybe hurt those seals that you've got on there. What about like Q-tips or what do they call Kleenexes? I don't typically use Kleenex because they seem to leave a lot of, I don't want to say it's dust, but the little fibers from those
just pieces. Yeah, I don't suggest them for anything on the gun, honestly, because the Q-tip has the same way of unraveling.
Yeah,
and leaving. And if you're cleaning like a possible use for a Q-tip on a scope is like cleaning the edges of your lens. So the problem with that is there's channels and grooves in there, and it's really easy
that cotton can get caught in
to
there.
get caught in there.
Yeah, get caught in
and
there.
So Yeah, I'm not a proponent of. I clean my ears with them, and I'm not supposed to, but I don't clean my weapons with them.
My uncle is a doctor, and he always said, "Don't stick anything smaller than your elbow in your ear."
That's probably good advice.
Is what he always told me. But yeah, I use Q-tips religiously in my ear.
Some cool things you can do are just to take. I will take sometimes a Q-tip and use like a cleaning patch, and I'll put the patch around the end of the Q-tip and hold it.
That's a good,
just so that I can direct the patch into places. But then I'm not left with the chance of pieces. I'm less likely to have pieces of stuff come off. So there's ways to do it for sure. And then the wetter that is, so if you intend to use it to clean your action or something, which I don't recommend, but if you do, make sure that it's got some solvent or oil on it, because then it's less likely to come apart. If that makes sense. And then tissues are just terrible.
So you and I talked about this a little bit off air too before the show, and it's we were just talking about your turret care, and you want to check those, and you want to make sure they're dry on the inside. Now I have heard of people putting like a wax on their the grooves, the turret grooves, but you don't recommend that.
Yeah, I don't recommend adding anything to your turrets. I do see the usefulness of a barrier there. The problem is I don't know what each individual person is going to choose as that barrier and how they're going to apply it, so I can't recommend it. Yeah, because I can't, I can't understand what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. I will say that the Riton linoscopes, they seal up very nicely. So again, if you'll and if you're worried about moisture in your turrets, you can really quite simply just, let it turn that rifle upside down or on its side and just leave the cap off, take the turret off and let it sit and let it dry out. You know what I mean? Pat anything dry and then just let it naturally air dry out and tighten it back up. And you should be good to go. If you have any problems with O-rings or caps or something, you can give us a call too, and we'll take care of you on that. But
what I always do after like an early morning hunt, when the dew sets in and the dew gets on there, or I'm in the rain or whatever, after I'm done, that's one of the first things that I do. I clean the gun and dry it off and make sure the moisture's off my rifle. But I take all the turrets off. I take the lens covers off, and I just dry everything out and I lay it out, in a non-humid area and let it dry out. And then I'll take one of those microfibers and just kind of rub the inside of those turrets too when I'm done before I put them on. That's really all I do.
Just give it a once over and check it out. A lot of people I did two things that gave me goosebumps thinking about going on an early morning hunt. But it does get everywhere when you're out hunting, and it's good to even take a microcloth with you when you're out shooting, or you'll use your shirt. You'll definitely use your shirt if you don't have anything else.
Yeah. You don't want to do that.
Find a way to add that into your, because I've been laying in the bushes and had the whole front lens wet, and I use my shirt because I don't have anything else.
Yeah, and depending on where you're hunting, some of that tall, weed or grass or whatever, they've got little seeds that get up in there too. If your lens cap is open, and you just use that little brush that we're talking about, that's good for getting those out, or blowing. A lot of times just the.
Yeah, a good old fashioned
blow. I mean, who don't like a good blow?
I'm not sure how to word that without sounding terrible, so I just kind of paused.
Who don't like a good blow? That's kind of all I got, for scope mates. Is there anything else you think I had?
I wish I had more, but the truth is, it's
pretty easy.
Anything with regards to this can be done real simple and cleanly. It doesn't have to be crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just take care of your optic, care about it. And again, anything that moves, check it out. Make sure it's tight, make sure it's moving, make sure it's not dirty, not wet, and those lens caps are your friend. Other than that, man, have fun.
There you go. So guys, if you've got additional questions, if there's something you think of that maybe we didn't cover, shoot us an email, talkinglead@gmail.com, and put Optics 101 in the subject. And be happy to address those. If you have questions directly for Jeremiah, you can send them to
J. Alexander at ritonusa.com. And I do get quite a few questions, so I'm happy to. I don't know if anybody's like worried about bothering me or whatnot, but like answering questions is a big part of what I do. So send away.
There you go. And, of course, make sure you guys go and visit Riton Optics. Is that the new website? Is it Riton Optics? You guys got a new website?
Yes, sir. It's just
recently. You updated your website.
We just updated it. Yeah, it just needed to be fine-tuned a little bit, and we had new products to add to it. But it's literally just ritonoptics.com, ritonoptics.com. And if you have the old website, was like Riton USA, it'll still take you. You'll still forward it to our site. But
yeah, I catch myself still saying that sometimes.
Me too. I have shirts that say it, and
it's catchy, so, man. I like it. Riton USA.
It is.
But Riton Optics.
We have added a bunch of manuals onto the website that needed to be there. So
yeah, you can go and get some online manuals.
I will tell you, there's a lot of crazy things, some really innovative stuff, some new stuff on the way.
Give us a hint.
I can't release any details yet.
Are we closer to our rangefinder?
Yes, we're closer to many, many of the things that people have been asking for. And I have been told you guys will be the platform for announcing the new. So yeah, we've listened. You know,
the show for exclusives.
We've listened. Yep, and we've listened to the public, and whether it be reticles or magnification ranges, or different optics for observation and things, we're doing everything we can to provide what the people want at the best price possible. So I'm excited. It's hard for me to keep quiet.
Well, hopefully sooner than later we'll be able to talk about all that. But in the meantime, you guys go check out. They've got a full line of scopes and all the price ranges, and even their Mod 7s you're going to find that they're really affordable compared to the competition out there. So their binoculars, they've got a very nice set of binoculars. The red dots are really nice, great red dots. They've got them for your rifle red dots, and they've got that micro red dot as well for maybe your not your pistols, but your AR pistols. Work great for your AR pistols. I got them on a couple of my AR pistol builds. Got them on the AK-47 now, Jeremiah.
Nice.
I got one of those
Occam flush mount micro dot.
Yep, got one of those Occam Defense rear tower sights post, and got it mounted, and got the micro, the Riton micro red dot on there, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, those are nice. And we have some turkey hunters that have been using those. They just flush mount it to the shotgun, and it works great for turkey and things like that too. So
I need to do that. I need to mount that on my shotgun too. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I've messed around with it a little bit shooting skeet, but then someone got upset that I was doing good and decided it was because of my optics, so I had to take it off.
Oh,
I was like, oh, sorry.
Poor baby.
I got a good teacher.
But then you took it off, and you still shot just as good, right? And
yeah, I didn't change anything for me other than I was upset.
And you said, "Suck it."
Yeah. I said, Charlie Mack Precision, if you want to get some training. Next month, we are doing the long shot. Trying to break the world record again. So
yeah, that is coming up. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. Hopefully, Talking Lead will be able to be there. We're still working on some things with that, iron out some details to try to get us there. But one way or the other, we'll get Charlie on and we'll talk about it. We'll get J-Mack on and talk about it if we aren't able to.
He's a fun guy. I enjoy learning from him. He's as good as they come.
But yeah, you guys go show Riton some love, and I guess our code's still good there, right? The Leadhead discount code.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So you guys, you go to their website, pick up some awesome optics, use that Leadhead discount code. The official optics of Talking Lead is Riton Optics, RITON optics.com. And Jeremiah, Modern Spartan Systems, another sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast. Sure you guys go and check them out. We were talking about some of their products today. They've got the lens cleaner, the crystal clear, the Spartan accuracy oil, which really works. I mean, we've got a prolific sniper. I was going to say Navy. He was a Navy SEAL sniper. Charlie Melton uses it. He attests that it will make your rifle, your gun, more accurate. So take it for what it's worth. I've seen it
happen personally. I've seen point of impact make a difference with the accuracy oil. So, and Yeah, Brad with Performance, who builds the guns for Charlie. He's the one that knows that stuff inside and out. So whatever he uses, I use, kind of deal. He's that guy, you know.
And he's using
and he swears by it.
Modern Spark Systems accuracy oil. And I use it too. So, but just like I said, don't take my word for it. You know, we've got other sources. You'll ask around, and you're going to hear the same thing. X Steel Targets. X Steel Targets. As you're getting that accuracy and you're shooting out and you're reaching out, X Steel Targets, AR-500 steel targets, are perfect for just that instant gratification of knowing you hit the target, that big ting. And they're going to be out there for Charlie's shot. Modern Spark Systems will be there. Riton will be there. X Steel will be there, providing some targets that Charlie's going to be shooting at. Check them out.
Some special Charlie Melton targets.
Yep, xsteeltargets.com. And Kel-Tec. I would love to get you hooked up with some of Kel-Tec stuff, J-Mack. The bullpup rifles.
I would love to have some of it.
They have amazing, the RDB and the RFB. That's their 308 and their 5.56 bullpup rifles. Amazing to shoot those things. Very accurate. They will definitely reach out.
Is there a leadhead discount code for that?
We don't have a discount code set up for them. They don't sell their weapons directly. You guys go to your local gun shop, gun dealer, but Kel-Tec weapons are surprisingly very affordable.
When you compare them,
comparatively speaking, yes, the quality that you're getting out of those rifles are amazing. They're sub 2000. Their pistol caliber carbine that they've got, 9mm 40 folds in half. Have you seen that?
I have not.
Those are amazing. They've had them for years now. They're on their Gen 2 of the sub 2000. I've got one behind me. You can't see it. I don't have my camera on, but there's one back there. Perfect truck guns, hiking, camping, just folds up perfect, fits under your seat and your backpack. And they take Glock mags, so your standard Glock 17 mags and up. So you can use that big 31 round, or however many rounds it is, 32 round, and then the aftermarket ones that are supposed to fit Glocks, they'll fit in the sub 2000. KelTecWeapons.com, check them out. Pioneer Arms Corps. Jeremiah, they're the sponsors of our AK Corner, which was the episode prior to this. So if you guys didn't get an opportunity to listen to the AK Corner, go back. We had James Yeager on, good buddy James Yeager from Tactical Response. It was a very fun interview with him. One of our more lighthearted ones. It was a good time. Enjoyed going up to Camden and visiting him at Tactical Response. Pioneer Arms Corps, the makers of the Talking Lead Help Up, which we have given away 9 of those so far, Jeremiah.
Nice.
That's
very cool.
9 AK-47s. We've got 3 more, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, 3 more to go in our 12-part series of the AK Corner.
I love it. I need to get in on that AK action. So Occam's got pretty nice stuff.
1775 that they've come out with. It's beautiful. I'm looking forward to getting mine soon. He says it's getting nearer and nearer. I'll have that out. And then
to hear about it.
Buck Knives. Guys, make sure you go check out Buck Knives. Everybody loves Buck Knives. You've heard about them from your granddad, your dad. They're a piece of Americana. But they do more than just the pocket knives, Jeremiah. They've got hunting knives. They've got tactical knives. They've got a full assortment. Knives and scissors and cutlery. Go check out Buck Knives. And then Streamlight. They're providing our EDC Pocket Dump Rewards program that we've been doing with Buck Knives, Streamlight, and FLEOA. I don't know if you're familiar with that program, Jeremiah, but we've been giving away to our listeners that go out and do a selfie with their local police department, fire department, first responders, and let them know how much they appreciate their service. We've been picking lead heads at random. We picked 5 lead head civilian listeners. Post it at? What's that?
How do you go about posting it, and what do you tag and whatnot to get noticed?
So what we've been doing is we've just been asking them to go out, take a selfie, be polite about it, let them know you appreciate their service, and then post that selfie on Instagram, Facebook, social media, and then tag Talking Lead, Streamlight, Buck Knives, FLEOA, and then use those hashtags as well, and use hashtag EDC Pocket or EDC PD. We made it simple, EDC PD.
Okay.
And then we just randomly go through and pick a winner. We picked 5 civilians, and we've given all the civilian ones out. All the civilian ones have been given out. We've got 1 more LE to give out, Jeremiah.
Well, I don't think I'm probably qualified to win, but I'm posting a picture anyway. I took a picture
Okay.
with our local police officer. I just wanted to give him some recognition, so I'll post it. These guys are awesome. And, I have friends that are, like Charlie, that have been over and done some crazy stuff, and they have the utmost respect for police because they're never done. They're never in a safe, okay place.
No.
They're always
get up every morning and
available and always doing the job. So,
and it's
our
not
police
just
deserve a lot more.
It's not just LE. It's fire department, first
Absolutely.
responders. Any of our first responders, they all qualify. But since you're going to go ahead and post that, Jeremiah, and we've got one to give away, one last one to give away, and I promised we'd give another one out this episode. Let's give it to your guy. What's his name?
Yeah. Brad Miller is his name.
Brad Miller. Okay, so Brad Miller. Make sure that he subscribes to our podcast and listens to it. I'm going to just take his word that he's going to do that.
You will.
And have you made that post? Did you make the post?
I have not yet. I have the picture right now. I'm about to post it. I need to stop and listen because
make the post. Make the post right now as we're talking.
Okay.
So that way, when the lead heads hear this, they'll know that they can go look and they can verify that you did it as well.
Yep.
And we're going to give that to. He says his name's Brad.
Brad Miller. Yes, sir.
Brad Miller. Congratulations, Brad. You're going to get a Buck Knives Blue Line pocket knife. You're going to get a Streamlight ProTac flashlight. And you're going to get a Battlefield watch, a Defy Battlefield watch provided by FLEOA, our good buddy Bill Hampstead over at the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association. So you're going to get our last EDC Pocket Dump Rewards Program package. So congratulations.
Nice.
And that'll wrap that up.
Very cool.
And we can move on to
He deserves it, so I'm excited. I'm posting it as we speak.
Okay. Very good. I trust you. I know it'll get done.
Yes, sir.
So there you go, lead heads. We will have another giveaway coming up soon, and we'll have all the details on what you need to do to be eligible and what all it's going to be. Jeremiah, we've got the 300th episode, 10 more episodes from now. So coming up pretty quick, and we're trying to put together something big to celebrate. So maybe
I should have saved Royce for that 300 episode. I'm going to have to top it now. How am I going to do that?
Well, see, that's what I was saying. We're kind of kicking it off early with Royce. So that's kind of a build-up of what we're doing. So,
absolutely.
I mean, maybe he might be back on again. Who knows?
He definitely would. He's and I just want to reiterate with Royce that he means what he says. Like, Royce will not. I've had people offer him hunts, but he doesn't want to eat that animal, so he just won't hunt it.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't. His morals are 100% straight. He doesn't shoot anything that he doesn't intend to not just eat but fully utilize.
Right. Well,
and
we've got places,
I really respect that about him.
We've got places here in Tennessee that you can donate that meat to feed the hungry, the homeless.
The homeless. Yeah.
So
I did that in Texas with some pigs.
Yeah, it won't go to waste. Definitely. And I got a big freezer too. So and I could.
There you go. You're like, okay.
I need more meat. So
you're like, I'll keep it if they don't want it.
Well, even if we just go out and shoot targets, we'll get some X steel targets and go out and shoot some AR 500 steel targets and have a good time. But it'd just be cool to go out and shoot with a guy. It'd be really sweet.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, so that's it. With that, I want to give a big shout out to Mission First Tactical. Thanks to Hodor, Dave over there, Mission First. I was talking about my 300 Blackout that I had done. He sent me some furniture for that. So I got a handguard, got a grip, got one of their minimalist butt stocks, and I got one of their new magazines. They're making magazines now over at MFT, and their 5.56 really works good with the 300 Blackout round. It feeds really well. I've not had any problems with that as far as it goes for feeding. Some of those magazines don't really run the 300 Blackout as well. I mean, they'll still run it, but sometimes you'll get hiccups with some of those other mags. Their magazine seems to work really well with 300 Blackout. So make sure you guys go show Mission First Tactical some love. I'm working on getting a discount code set up with them also. Don't have anything set up yet, but I did make an announcement on the last episode that we've got a discount code set up with another light company. It's ASP-USA, and it's a 20% discount for you lead heads. And that code is LED20, LEAD 20, and you're going to get 20% off any regular priced flashlight case, accessory, and battery power accessories. And like I told you guys, I'm in the process of trying out several different brands of dual fuel flashlights. And they were kind enough to send me a few of theirs. I've got 3 different ones that I'm trying out of theirs right now. And so far, so good. They're working really good. And some of the features on them, we're going to have him on, and we'll talk about ASP. They do more than flashlights. They do a lot of law enforcement gear and equipment. The batons, they're real famous for the baton.
Yeah.
So
I'll give you a public service announcement that you might delete after I say it.
Okay. What is it?
But we had a guy. There's a YouTuber, Instagram gentleman that does reviews, and he said, "Hey, tag anybody you want me to review their stuff." And it was everybody. We got a whole bunch of tags, and so we'll probably use this person. But I was looking through all the tags because I was like, maybe I could find some cool stuff. And I saw something called a fleshlight, and I thought, that's cool.
Did you say flesh?
Yeah, like flesh. Yeah, well, it's a masturbation for men. And I had to go tell my wife. I was like, just so you know, if you happen to pick up my phone and see the history, I thought it was like a cool tactical flashlight, but I was incorrect. I was incorrect on that. The office got a good laugh at me. I was like, don't look up flashlight. I'll tell you right now.
That's funny.
But yeah, oops. That's what you get. You also should ask the lead heads, what are our next steps for our optics class, like what we can do, optics shooting, anything related, like what do they want to hear, see, because we've run over the gauntlet, I think, of the 101 at this point. I'd love to get more advanced with reading and dialing and wind, anything they want.
Okay, so let's take those, guys. Send us your suggestions, talkinglead@gmail.com, and we'll go to we'll graduate to the next level of optics, and we'll start getting a little more advanced. Because, that's natural progression, right? That's kind of where we're at now. So.
Yeah, and we can always answer questions along the way.
Very good. We'll definitely do that. All right, guys, that does it for another episode of the Talking Lead podcast. All those sponsors that I just mentioned, make sure you go and show them the love. Without them, the show would not be possible for you guys each and every week. Free of charge, by the way. You don't get charged for it. You actually make money with the discount codes and giveaways that we do on this podcast. So there's no better podcast than the Talking Lead podcast. If there is, you let me know. You let me know if there's a podcast out there doing more than Talking Lead does. I'll be surprised.
Not going to happen.
So until next episode, as always, leadheads, keep your loved ones close.
And your firearms closer.
And keep those optics clean, man.
Mm-hmm.
Clean
Take
and maintain. Take care of your shit. Just like your daddy told you.
I'm telling you, that's
he's growing up.
As simple as that. Take care of your stuff.
And
take care of your kids so they don't do crazy stuff and think things that are okay are not okay, or vice versa. And take care of your optics.
All that and more.
Yes, sir.